She's been learning and teaching yoga for over 25 years. She's certified in India, Nepal, China, Brazil, US, and Canada. She does 7 different types of yoga, specializing in Hatha yoga, Yin yoga, and restorative yoga. And she is highly motivated by learning from her life experiences and then being able to share them in a simple and easy way to benefit others. Please welcome my dear friend, Fernanda, to the show. Hello.
Thank you so much for having me here. Hello. I'll carry you in my pocket to introduce me around the world.
When I hear people who have actually spent time, you just know when you meet somebody if they're actually living the practice. You know, they take it from theory into practice, and that's where you make all the mistakes and you really derive the benefits, right? So tell us, please, from your experience, because I didn't even know, well, I guess there is 7 different types of yoga, but I didn't quite, when you said it that way, I'm reading your bio. Tell us more about the different types of yoga that you specialize in, and the objectively, like, why would somebody do that in our crazy, busy life, and how would it benefit them?
hmm Well, all these different types of yoga, they are just pieces from the classic Hatha yoga. So I actually started in Hatha yoga. I went through all those types and I got back into Hatha yoga. It's like if you're looking for home in the world, you travel all over the world and then in the end you go back home and you're like, everything was here since the beginning. So I really feel that with Hatha yoga, there's all these different types. Ashtanga, Vinyasa, restorative, Yin, prenatal, postnatal. Some of them are just, adjustments to different moments in our lives, to yoga for seniors, chair yoga, things like that. So many of them, many of my specializations are like that, but actually everything is extracted from Hatha yoga. Unfortunately, Hatha yoga in the West just became asana, movement many of the times, but Hatha yoga is really complete. Um, so that's why I came back to it because the other types kind of we don't have time or the right environment physically and energetically to explore, a meditation exercise in the end of the session, or more breathing, or a visualization, or mudras, gestures, or anything like that. Sometimes they are even judged and badly seen by, people in the West. I don't like saying that, like people in the West, but it is many times here in Brazil, where I'm from, here in North America, we go to a yoga studio for very mundane reasons. I need to lose weight. I am stressed. I need to sleep better. And yoga offers all of that almost as a side effect. That's not the purpose, that's not the goal. The goal really is to make us meditate. But I understand that many of us are not interested in meditation, and that's fine. The thing is that we don't want to sit and meditate, but if we live a more meditative life, if we can just walk our dogs in a more peaceful way, if we're not relying on food to feel better or on external things in life, if things are not perfect in my life, I can still go on and smile and cry too, but just to be that, human. Um, that's really the purpose of yoga. That's why they say it's union, right? It's to bring the mind back into the body. That's why we move. And sometimes we move intensely to push away all the anxiety and the stress, the sadness, or to integrate it. And, it's not about defeating them, but just looking into them. Many times we don't um, get rid of them, but we really understand them and go through them. So yoga is really for that deep understanding, and everything else, the weight loss, the physical health, the weight gain, whatever we need physically, sleeping better, will be there just because it's uniting us again. It's connecting you to yourself again.
Understood. So it's basically, if I hear you correctly, it's through the power of putting the body into specific movements. It helps to access the mind and quiet it down. What is it? Shriti Vritti Niradaha, this distilling of the mind stuff. Is that what that is?
Exactly, yes.
So
Perfect.
it's basically that anchor for this churning of the mind, which is so much nowadays, especially in this culture. I call it the microwave society because we want everything in a minute or less, right? And we're drinking so much stimulants. But then with the stimulants comes the depressants we have to take, whether it's wine or CBD or tea, whatever it is, to calm down, because we had, 10 cups of coffee during the day to get whatever projects done. So if I hear you correctly, this doing the physical postures is an anchor for that. And then the byproduct, because of it being in balance, then we actually get what we want. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. I couldn't explain better. And and we have to start with what is more tangible, right? Because the mind is already super far away from here, from where the body is. So we start with the poses, the asanas that are really tangible, and there's no escape when we're in a warrior pose. There's no way not to be there, and the teacher, the instructor, is telling us so many details about our bodies. Shoulder like this, arms like that, palms facing down, palms facing each other. Bring your hips forward, drop your heel down. Like, it's okay. The mind has to anchor because, okay, I need to think about all those parts of my body and feel them and many times correct them. We can't do that right away, right? But it's practice, and we have no escape. We have no choice. But the thing is that we can't just stay in that first step. We should go, into deeper stages, and we would benefit more. Not should, but we would benefit more from deeper stages, more layers, like developing a better relationship with our breath, or visualizations, or a yoga nidra practice in the end of the asana practice, or just sitting and feeling your energy, doing mudras, the gestures, and connecting to them, because the mind is really fast, right? The minute, the second, or the fraction of a second we're there, thinking about the shoulder. At the same time, we think about, but I had an injury on that shoulder in 2001, and this teacher wants me to do it perfectly. Like, and then emotions come, and we can be easily carried away from the present moment again.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's this thing, right? Is like there's at least 20 different movie theaters playing sometimes at the same time, right? All vying
Yes,
for my attention on opening night. You know, it's like. Um, so
exactly.
I love how you said that, and it's a great reminder about how when here in the West, you know, we go into a yoga studio and you know, we were thinking short term. I need to decompress right now. I need to do this. I need to lose weight. I need to, whatever it is. I need. And we're not thinking about really what it was designed to do, which was, like you said, to prepare us for Rajasana or meditation. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm,
Rajasana?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
they don't
perfect.
call it Rajasana for a reason, right? So if I understand Rajasana or meditation correctly, it's to become familiar with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what are we becoming familiar with? What's the point?
Well, we're really familiar with all the negative aspects of us, right? We repeat so many times per day how I can't do things, or even the teacher is telling me, push your shoulder backwards. I'm right away. How dare, she doesn't know my shoulder. She doesn't know my history. Like negative feelings and emotions are so easy to hook us and to carry us away. This defensive, state in our minds, and always arriving in the world as if someone is already trying to defeat us, or so that reminder, that familiarity that meditation is giving us, and really I believe it's only meditation and all the other derivates from meditation, right? That does that with us. They are reminding us you have many other sides in you, and they are really beautiful and pure and clear. And I'm not saying that you're not all of that negativity, as well. We are, because we collect that through life. We react to life in different ways. And if we don't see that, the negative side, we can't even move towards the positive side, or the relaxed side, the compassionate side, the present side, right? It's the duality of this world. Um, so exactly, so we need to make ourselves familiar to all those beautiful things. We tend to think, yeah, but that forces me into being good. No, we're everything. But how many times per day we emphasize the positive traits we have, and in the world does that too? And how many times per day we stop to remind ourselves, yes, it's difficult, yes, it's hard, but there's all this power in me. Maybe my body is sick now. Maybe I'm going through difficulties. Maybe I'm going through stress. Maybe I'm losing, apparently in my daily life. But what is this amazing power inside that can remind me that it's possible to transform all of that?
That's it right
So
there, isn't it? It's the becoming familiar with our abilities to do good and that we have the capability to transform to that nature, right? Because like you said,
Exactly.
I say that so often, it's like, wait a second, we know how to meditate. When somebody tells me, oh, I don't know how to meditate, I said, no, we absolutely do. You meditate on anger all the time, you meditate
Yeah.
on grief, you meditate on how you can't achieve something, right? What does it take to turn to that? Is it just putting yourself into a warrior posture and saying, I'm a warrior, not a worrier?
Hmm. That helps. Yeah. That we have to start somewhere, right? It's like if we're moving into a new house and then we don't take time to clean it. We just, okay, let's bring all my stuff into a dirty house with things that other people left there behind. Like that won't work out. You, even if it's a beautiful house, you won't feel happy. You won't feel yourself, not your environment. So what yoga is doing is really cleansing, in the through forcing in a very generous and loving way, is forcing you to be just present in this moment with your body, because the sensations, the physical sensations are so intense, right? Everybody who practices yoga knows, even if it's a slow practice or a fast practice, so many things are happening in the body that you have to pay attention to them. Our bodies are very generous in that aspect, that they bring us present. We're speaking here because possibly we're very lucky today that we're not in excruciating pain, right? If we're just speaking here, but I cut my finger, I may not be able to pay attention to what I'm saying. And oh, but some people can. More we refine our minds. I can cut my finger, but yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I'm okay. I can still finish this interview. I can still go on. And yoga is doing that through bearing discomfort too. So it's one important part of yoga, teaching us that the poses shouldn't be painful, of course, but there's a level of discomfort physically, emotionally. You're doing things that are really opening your body. You're sometimes in the middle of other people that you don't know. Maybe you feel you're being judged. Maybe you're judging yourself. Maybe we're judging others. It's all happening because it's all being human, but we have to do it. Once you're there, it's like my guru always says, it's like going downhill on like skiing. When you start, I'm not into skiing, but maybe when you go down, there's no way to go up again, right? So once you're there in a pose and it's more beneficial for you to follow your breath and finish it, and it's possible,
Yeah.
you start training your mind that, okay, it's possible to go through that emotional pain. When my boss says something that really triggers me, when my husband is, in a bad mood, when anything, anything that causes frustration, yoga is such a great teacher that frustration will always be there. Even you practice yoga for so long. I don't know. I can't say about you, you tell me, but about me, I know that some days I do some poses and I feel frustrated that, like, man, I'm aging. This pose is not perfect anymore. And then the pose fixes that in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As we stay, and that's why Hatha Yoga is really my favorite, because it gives us time to breathe into the pose and to feel it. It's not, super fast. and
Yeah.
it gives us time to incorporate gestures and thoughts and Dharma talk and anything that is refining those feelings.
I love that. I love that. I mean, is that why they call, is it the tapas, the mat, is purification? and I
Exactly.
and
Yes.
I think about that every time I pull out my mat. I'm like, well, it's time to purify because, the what was I going to say? Doing the practice over and over and over again is just in massage. We have a thing called healing crisis when someone's on the table and could be just out of nowhere. They start to laugh or they break down crying or they freeze up or get angry.
Yeah.
They may know or they may not know what would be the trigger. And at least in the massage modality, we talk about that. So it sounds like in yoga, that's what you're saying too, that it's like it's activated through the symbiotic relationship of mind-body. Is that correct?
That's
So,
super correct. Yes.
so what I would like to do now is there in, I don't know if it's in Kundalini yoga, they talk about, is it in Kundalini or it might be another therapy where they say in 3 minutes, you basically go through an energetic change. All it takes is 3 minutes, and then you can go from upset or anger to like a neutral, and then from there, then you can really shift and change your reality. Maybe that's why we give kids a timeout, count to 10 or something like that. Have you heard this?
Yeah, yes, I'm also certified in Kundalini and I really love it. And I I think it's so important also to sometimes be satisfied with the neutral too. We're, also our fast society, like the one click, the microwave, as you very well explained, society, modern society now is so unsatisfied with the neutral,
Totally.
and the neutral is amazing. We're looking for very, like firework sensations all the time. It has to be on the top of the mountain, if not enough for me. So it causes peaks of course, frustration and sadness too, because
Yeah.
we can't be on the top of the mountain all the time.
Yeah.
So
So
amazing, yes.
is there any exercise that you could take us through for about 3 minutes as we wind down
Yeah.
the show that
Okay,
someone could
amazing.
do
Let's do that.
so that they can, because
Anyone
if
can
you if
do.
you if you can't take 3 minutes out of your day, then there might be something that you might have to look at to reprioritize, right? So we do these little
Exactly.
bite-sized things to help people make a time for wellness. So what do you got?
I love that. Okay, wonderful. So let's try incorporating some little movements with the breath. So if I go past 3 minutes, just call me back, please. So let's start with just energizing our hands. And we will do some gestures with our hands. I chose the two gestures today that are really simple. And also the gestures mean something really positive. So let's practice them before so you know what to do when I'm speaking about them. The first one is called Hakini Mudra. So it's only connecting the tips of all fingers, even the thumbs, and kind of floating the sphere of energy in front of your chest. And we'll understand why. And the second one is right hand on the top of the left with thumbs together, connecting above the palms, which is the Dharma Dhatu um, mudra or gesture. So it's also called the tranquility gesture. So just thinking about that, we are re-educating ourselves that we can embrace tranquility. And the Hakini is the presence gesture. So we connect, our subtle side with our doer side. So let's start with the palms in front of the chest. If you're not okay closing your eyes, you're who is watching us, you can just drop the gaze down and let's start breathing in and opening space, separating the hands. And breathing out slowly, bringing the hands together. We will do the bird's beak. Inhale through nostrils. And exhale through a beak in your lips as if you're holding a thick drinking straw. Inhale and exhale. Follow your own rhythm. You don't have to follow mine. Every inhalation, you open space. And every exhalation, you bring connection. Keep exhaling through the mouth. And push the air through that imaginary drinking straw. Relax shoulders, facial muscles. Don't judge the breath, just compliment it, make it feel loved. It is perfect exactly as it is now. Only 2 more breaths. Activating our parasympathetic system. Last one. And let's go into the sphere of presence, gesture in front of the chest, the Hakini Mudra. Just breathing through nostrils and place your mind into that sphere. You're here with yourself. Feel your body breathing all together with your mind. You can visualize your awareness as a small bright star floating in the middle of your gesture. It expands when you inhale, like your lungs. It contracts when you exhale, like your abs.
This is awesome.
Beautiful. And then we can just end with our Dharma Dhatu, just to experience one deep breath in the tranquility gesture, reminding yourself that you're protected and present.
Thank you so much for coming on today. And thank you, all of you, for joining us here. Until we see each other in person, make sure you make a time for wellness. Take care and happy trails.